Many people have wondered whether or not Miscavige is a true believer in Scientology. I know he hasn't been audited since the 1990s. However, if he weren't a true believer, why would he spend tens of millions of dollars on preserving Hubbard's works in secret vaults? Okay, a couple of answers on this one. One, because they told the IRS that's what they were going to do. And in order to get tax exemption, they had to check certain boxes, and they were then, after the tax exemption in 93, they were audited every single year for like 10 straight years to ensure compliance with the rules and directives that they had agreed to. So, getting money into that vault project, which is the Church of Spiritual Technology, it's actually a full Scientology organization exists just to get this done. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, we've talked about it on the show before. There's these vaults around in underground chambers that have been built to house all of L. Ron Hubbard's works on titanium plates and magnetic recording media, and which are records. Actually, they did not magnetic. Sorry, they're doing records, but they're nickel-plated records that will play on solar-powered record players, because this is all in preparation for the world annihilating itself and Hubbard's materials surviving such a catastrophe, so that Scientology will continue to exist forever. So they don't really have a whole lot of choice as to whether they're going to put money into this or not. They have to. As far as Miscavige believing it to be a valuable project or not, I mean, who cares? He probably doesn't. He probably thinks it's all just a bunch of nonsense. Or maybe he really does believe it. It's really hard to say, but for all practical purposes, it doesn't really matter. Miscavige acts as though he doesn't believe in the tech because he doesn't use it. He doesn't follow any of Hubbard's directions, but he constantly is pounding on his juniors and staff and making them wrong for following his orders and then violating Hubbard policy. I mean, he's got it all worked out, as to how he controls these people. The other thing about this, and this is kind of, important point, is that fundraising, as I mentioned in my an answer ago, fundraising is really big and important in Scientology, and a lot of fundraising gets done for this archives project. Just on its own. We talk a lot about the IAS, we talk about the ideal orgs, but this is itself another source of fundraising for the church. So I don't know that it's a real heavy one. I don't think they really roll on it as hard as they do the IAS money and the ideal org money, but I'm just saying it is another source of fundraising. And they can fundraise for this, and then the money goes and it can get distributed however they want it to get distributed. There's no there's no transparency, there's no accountability for where this fundraised money is going. So if Joe Schmo donates $10,000, $100,000 to the Church of Scientology, if it's going to the IAS, then he has a form that he fills out and it goes to the IAS, and that's got a paper trail to it. If he's donating to the ideal orgs, that goes into a special fund for that. But if it's going to the archives project, that money could get tapped to go anywhere, including into David Miscavige's pocket. Like that money is just kind of sitting out there, and there's no special forms or trust documents or anything like that you have to sign in order to give that money over for that. So in other words, it could act as its own kind of slush fund. And I don't know that it would be so hard to cover one's tracks on that kind of money. So in addition to the IAS and the ideal orgs, the Church of Spiritual Technologies fundraising efforts can also be used for other things, and for all we know, that might be a whole nother secret stash of money for Miscavige. So that could be another reason why he has that set up and continues to keep it in operation, in addition to everything else I already said about the IRS compliance. So there you go.